Thank you so much for being here today. Today we're going to be speaking with Adrian Rashad. Let's take a look at his story. From the small city of Barstow, the pit stop on the way to Las Vegas. Adrian Rashad Driscoll followed his dream of becoming a professional actor and moved to Los Angeles. Shortly after that, he was woken up. After 15 years of great weather and bad traffic, he now makes his living as a filmmaker and immersive media creative. He has had the privilege of working with large companies such as CBS, NBC, KTLA, Facebook, Microsoft, United Way, and more to push the boundaries of immersive media whilst producing great XR titles and experiences. Presently, Adrian has partnered with music legend Gimel Yonguru Keaton to form the immersive media production house Collimation. We're super excited to have Adrian here with us today. I can't wait to begin. Let's do it. Thank you so much, Adrian, for being here today. I'm super excited. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, late night last night, but yeah, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing very good. We're right now here in Canada is summer. So for me, it is such a blessing when we can go outside, walk, enjoy the weather. Winter is very hard, but still, of course, there is beauty in everything that we have. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, for asking me as well.
Mhm.
And please let us know a little bit about your background. You have such an amazing story.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so Adrian Rashad Driscoll. My background is in television and film and acting. I moved out to LA maybe 14 years ago on my tax check. I had no money at all. And I created my production company, Driscoll Entertainment, out of necessity. And then maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we partnered with Young Guru and we started the production company Collimation. So it's been a crazy ride. And now mostly I focus on teaching and getting more BIPOC people into XR. And that's been like my passion now. So that's what I have fun with.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is very exciting because moving from traditional media, which is the filmmaking industry, like the traditional music industry, how have you witnessed this transition and what challenges you've have experienced?
It was wild, because initially, I wanted to do the traditional television and film, and there's so many gatekeepers. There's so many, like, you get a great opportunity and it's knocked away by someone's secretary or someone's assistant trying to protect them. When I got into XR and I became an expert, I had people knocking at my door, NBC, HBO, like, hey, how do we do this? And it's like, a complete a turn, So I saw the opportunity and I really went for it because I saw that's like nothing I've ever seen before.
Yes, so technically, um, yeah, like for many creators that are still in the traditional media, they might be facing, of course, the same type of challenges. But how did you actually got your expertise in XR? Like, what type of journey did you undertake? How did you get to the point where you were so confident to say, now I'm using the media right? Because it's also a learning curve, right? We can have the
Right,
tools, but
absolutely.
we don't know how to use them.
Yeah, so about 10 years, maybe a little longer, I was modeling for or doing like promo modeling for Oculus. And I saw some experiences and I fell in love with the medium, being able to look all the way around and connect with the story in a new way. I was like, oh, this is something. And Oculus quickly saw my passion. So I'm a nerd, so I got obsessed with it. So Oculus quickly saw that and they had me travel the world to teach people XR, so
Wow.
it was a kind of a natural transition because I knew storytelling. And most people are still trying to show off the tech, and nobody cares about the tech. They just care about what they're getting from it. So with the narrative first approach, it gave me leverage, and I really ran with it. So I saw, okay, well, let me consult here, let me work here, let me teach here. And, then I became a world expert, and, the rest is crazy, because they have me speaking at campuses and teaching, elite leaders. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I went to Allen and Company. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. So it's been a dope journey.
That's super exciting. That's such a cool story because it also shows, yeah, there are certain things that happen because it's there in our path,
Right,
drawn somehow for us. But
right,
there are other cases where we can still try to be persistent, as you were, right? You were
right,
struggling at the beginning, difficult situations, difficult to get, in the door.
right,
Somehow it happened in another way, not necessarily the way that you at the beginning thought it was going to happen, the
right.
direct reach out and all of that. So it's just a call to open up that we really cannot put the life in a box. Maybe there are different ways where things can come across, and we need to keep the faith.
Absolutely. And and I mean, don't get me wrong, the struggle, like I was homeless when I was in XR. I lived on Skid Row when I had already started XR. So it wasn't all like a great, fun
Mhm.
journey. But that I say that to say this, like it is temporary. Like pain is temporary, and you have to keep persisting. You have to keep going. Like your shirt says, don't give up, right? Because it's once you get past the, okay, well, I'm in a bad situation, it's like you can't get any worse, then what are you afraid of? So that was kind of the motivating pushing factor. Plus I had to have a lot of faith. Like God brought me through a lot, because if not, I was like, oh my gosh, I would have fell apart. But yeah, it was.
I think that your story is actually super inspiring. And the reason is because there are many of us who maybe come from backgrounds that are not the standard in society, or
Mhm.
maybe we are not from countries, maybe that are the leading countries in the technology. And so
Right.
then we might face a lot of barriers, a lot of challenges. But your story is so inspirational. I want to say again, reinforce, thank you so much for opening up and sharing these beautiful examples for us.
Thank you.
And then you started to create at some point that you came with the idea of creating Collimation.
Mhm.
I wonder, how was that transition? How was the creation of the company? How did you actually brought also on board, which is amazing already, email, like young group to join you in the adventure?
Yeah, so initially, Collimation was formed. I had an idea. It's like, what if you could relive moments of your favorite movies? That was the basis, right? And what if I
Mhm.
could put you in that movie, And I was going to meet with Quincy Jones, and this is the beginning of 2020, and no one knew it was like January. No one knew the world was going to shut down, and right before like a week before my meeting, they're like, well, Quincy's pretty old and we got to be careful. And I had met young Guru, because I was doing a talk or teaching at the HBCUs at South by Southwest in 2018. And I had met young Guru there as well. And I'm like, hey, Goo, I have this crazy idea. And Goo's like, it's going to be bigger than you ever imagined. Like, it's so brilliant. And he came on board, and he's so brilliant himself. It's like you got to keep up. You got to keep up. And yeah, from there it was incredible, because he I didn't have to explain a lot to him. He just got it. He understands. And he also knows so much with music. He could enhance the music side to go with the narratives, and it was a beautiful connection, and it's been that way ever since.
That's awesome. So you've been building different type of projects. What are some of your favorite ones, and the reason for that? I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult to choose.
It's hard.
The answer is always no, this is difficult. But yeah, something that maybe that you feel for some reason that you find a lot of connection with those particular projects.
you know That's hard. So some of the things that we did first are always exciting, right? So we did the first hybrid holoportation event, partnered with Microsoft and Mixmaster Mike, and that was fun because you saw the fans really reaching out and asking questions and connecting in new ways, and it was exciting. Some of the projects don't even have visuals, like we went to we created this song for a banking company called Lion Tree, and just the camaraderie of the employees and the CEO, you know, and that's one of my favorite things, because you see people's reaction and it's genuine and it's pure and it's grateful, and it's like, you know, they're at such an elite level and they're just excited, you know. Man, the Rhapsody build we did, you know, to see Rap's face when she saw her build and she's like, this is what I wanted, you know, as opposed, and it's like you're translating people's thoughts into visuals. And you know, I mean, there's so many more. The rap cipher with Tech Lamert was special too, with Sway's team, and you know, Paris and Rashidi, and it's it's all been fun. I've loved every moment, honestly.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there are always interesting projects and experiences that maybe appeal even more to us with the emotions, and we get a lot of joy seeing when people are actually being inspired by those type of
Right,
experiences. Yes, that's
right.
the best reward for the creator, right? Is that part. Yes.
It's amazing because the wow moments never go away. Like, you know, I've shown over 12,000 people VR in my life, and I still get excited when they're like, you know, and you get the old face. You're like, wait, what? You know, and it's great, you know. And now we have Collimation Comedy Club. You know, we partner with Crack 'Em Up and the show Murdoch, and we see people laughing, and it's a natural release, and they're so excited, you know. And they may be in the metaverse, they may be in person, but the joy is always real, no matter where they're at. And there's no feeling like it, honestly.
That's awesome. So it is a reality that not everyone, unfortunately, at this point yet, consumers have access to a headset or
Mhm,
to devices that
mhm.
they can enjoy for the experience. How do you manage that? How do you design the experiences around the fact that maybe not everyone is being able to access?
I mean, you know, let's be real. Like, even here in America, like not everybody even has internet. You know, so you can't assume that people have access to a headset, right? So at Collimation, we try to make all of our experiences hybrid. So you can consume it the way you want to consume it. Do you want to be in VR? Some people don't. Do you want to watch it in AR? Do you want to watch it on a regular screen? Do you want to have a metaverse play? You know, we extend the stage to the way people want to consume it, and we found great success in that, because we're not telling you where to go, we're going where you are, and giving you something to do.
Yeah, that's great. And also it showcases that sense of inclusivity that is
Right,
important for you to allowing
right,
different segments, accessing and being able to enjoy the experience. Yeah,
right.
that's great. So
Absolutely.
right now we see many things out there related with hardware, platforms and different systems that can the technology is advancing so fast.
Mhm.
Where do you think that the industry of maybe filmmaking, music, entertainment is going in this landscape?
You know, I think a lot of people are afraid, or think that VR is trying to replace, or they're like, oh my gosh, everyone's gonna be in headsets. It's not true. You're never gonna replace traditional media. I think this is a great way to enhance, you know. Yeah, some of the things we do is we have live performances, and we are you know, we have people performing, and oh, that's great, right? But like, not everybody wants to hold their phone up for an hour, you know. So it's like you have to think rationally of, hey, this isn't going to change the landscape. It's just extending it, or enhancing it, or making it, you know, giving additional content and experiences. And I think now that people are starting to understand that, now it's going to expand very, very quickly, especially with companies like Apple jumping in the ring, you know, who control the consumer market already. It's going to expand even faster.
Yeah, that's great. So it is evident that your background is not as a developer per se,
Mm.
but you've been able to build amazing experiences. Do you think that we are in an era where we can actually learn by ourselves, even if we're not developers, or right?
Absolutely. I mean, when we started Collimation, I spent thousands of hours, literally thousands of hours learning Unity, learning Unreal, learning these tools, YouTube University, Udemy, all of the anything I can get my hands on to try to learn. Because you can. It takes a lot of time. We didn't have money to pay devs, you know. And then once we started creating things ourselves and doing it very, very wrong, devs wanted to jump on board because they saw the vision, and that's how you build. It's like, don't try. I would suggest, don't try to learn it yourself. Try to focus on what you're good at, and then work with people who know other areas. And as long as you can show the vision and show there's something strong, is there something real there, people will join you.
That's amazing. That was gonna lead me to the next question, and is how did you build a team around you? Because that is also something that it's not that these things just happen by one person only. Like the one person leads the vision, as you mentioned, and
Right,
has the drives the passion, and has like good insight on how to create the things.
right.
But how did you build a team around you?
Yeah, I mean, it took me a year to actually have a conversation with Goo, after we met. Like, it was literally a year. And Guru's a celebrity and Guru knows everybody. So it's like, I'm nervous, and I'm like, I had to get the confidence to be able to say, hey, look, I have a crazy idea. That followed with Harold Hayes Jr. From Sunny Boy. We met, we had an NBC program that we worked together, and Harold saw the vision right away. And then once you have these people saying, oh my gosh, this is crazy, what's next, you have to keep going because you don't want to let them down. And I walked away from making a lot of money to making no money, just to figure this thing out. And now we're fine, but like, it was a struggle to tell the team, hey, we're doing this sweat equity, we were going to figure it out. And the team has, I'm talking from Guru to Harold to Rome Diggs to Tommy Morgan Jr. to Luke, and the rest of our team. Like, they just stayed by because they knew it was going to work.
Yes, yes, definitely. Of course, yeah. I mean, there is
Oh,
a
and Cos and Christie too. Sorry, I can't forget Cos and Christie, because
yes.
they worked with us a lot, even when we didn't have the means. They knew it was going to work, so they put a lot of work into it.
I think that's very inspiring as well when you get to have this cross section of talents and vision. And
Mhm.
I feel honestly that the best thing that we should be doing is that thing that we could do it even without getting money ahead, right? Because it's out of 100% passion. And
Right.
having this, like attracting this type of people is not an easy thing, but anyways, we need to keep the faith that the right people is going to be involved at some point and continue with together working towards the goals that you believe in. Yes.
You have to know the difference between money and value. That's the thing. Most people think value is the dollar, and that's not
Yes.
true. You can have value without having any cash. You can build something valuable with no money at all. You just have to be very strategic and understand approach, and understand that I'm not doing this for free.
Mhm.
It's not free. I'm building something that's going to have value later. You plant the seed and let the tree grow. But if the tree doesn't grow in a day, it doesn't mean the tree's not valuable, and
Yeah.
that's something that you really have to understand to be an entrepreneur, I think.
That's great. And I think that you also perhaps drove to that conclusion from your own life because
Right,
you've been able to see, in those circumstances, how it is to not have all that money and
right,
still know inside that you have such a good talent. You can survive somehow. Like you had the
right.
faith and the understanding that this is temporary, this is gonna pass, something else is gonna come. So I think this is very valuable for someone who is trying to create an experience, but also expanding on a studio or creating a company. This is a great understanding. I think this is
Absolutely.
gold. This is gold to mention this. Thank you so much. This is so great.
Thank you.
So, yeah, there are many things happening with collimation, and also because you are like you're coming from an artistic background as well. Do you see any transformation somehow of storytelling when it's infused with extended reality technologies? Are there any changes there or any enhancements, or what can you say in terms of traditional storytelling now when you use XR technologies to, communicate these storytelling narratives?
Yeah, I mean, narrative is everything. The only thing that matters is the story. And we like to say we tell stories and sometimes use a headset. And I see a lot of people who are in XR forcing it. They're like, oh, this has to be 360 because it's cool. No, no, no. What? Like there's a lot of friction for VR. There's a lot of friction for 360. How am I going to tell you to put on a headset and mess up your hair and your makeup? And you know what I'm saying? Like these things aren't,
Yes.
there's friction points. But if the story needs to be told in VR, if the story needs to be told using a headset, you have to leverage that capacity. Don't black out half the back and tell me wear a headset. No, why would I do that? And there were a lot of gimmicks at the beginning. There were a lot of people who were using it to say, hey, this is something cool, look at me. And it always shows through. And now I think the new storytellers and the people who are actually leveraging this medium are creating some really good work. So it's going to change, and it's going to grow. Even 360 video, I think, is going to really expand the landscape.
That's amazing. And what do you see coming up for collimation? What type of things do you foresee in the future? I mean, we don't know the future, but like things that because you're a visionary anyways, what type of things would you like to see collimation progressing or evolving into?
You know, right now, again, the thing I'm most excited about is bringing more people into the space, showing storytellers how to not use this as a gimmick. So like right now we just launched our year 3 of Scale Up Immersive in Toronto. We're teaching more people how to get into the space, more Black people. And I that's what excites me. Like we do a lot of cool stuff. We were with Santiago last night, and we do a lot of cool stuff, as far as performances and all of that, and it's great. And we have some cool upcoming stuff as well. Some I can't speak of, but it's great. It really is. We just relaunched the new version of Collimation Comedy Club, and it's great partnerships. But bringing people to the space is the only thing that like really excites me, and I'm like, I get chills. I'm like, oh my gosh, you knew nothing about XR when you started this program. Now, 5 months later, you pivoted, and your company's creating content in XR. That's the biggest excitement I have for Collimation, for myself in general. It's it's exciting.
Thank you. That's yeah. Like just to hear that is it sounds super fun to see what things are coming up. And you said collaborations. I think that's the heart of everything that we create, right? Like collaborations and partnerships are actually what makes things grow because we
Right,
cannot just make things in a box by ourselves. We really
right.
need to go outside. What are your recommendations considering what it is to be not having a lot of connections and knocking doors and asking for that? What are your recommendations for someone who wants to start, but they don't have these great connections? Or, I mean, every connection is great, but don't have connections that can be leveraged even more to a scale. What are your recommendations for someone who don't have
Yeah,
these connections
absolutely.
yet?
If you're trying to build a network and build, something, first you have to clearly identify what your value is. Because most people go and they say, I get calls all the time. Hey, do you want to hire us to do that? And I'm like, no, who are you? Like, why should I take this call? Right. And most people don't present their value. They just ask for something.
Ah,
Right. So look for the win-wins. Look for, what you're gonna give to somebody first. The highest level you can ever get to in life is servant. As long as you are giving someone something then the law of reciprocity states that they'll be like, okay, let me give you something back, and go on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the most underrated social media tool in the world, in my opinion, because these are very, very high level people who have a lot of pull and a lot of influence. And everybody wants to be cool. Everybody wants to do cool stuff. If you're doing cool stuff, people will come on board, write it, learn how to speak to people, read books. Like these things are free, honestly, and when it comes to the money play, there's a piece of advice that I live by. If you want advice, ask for money. If you want money, ask for advice. And you keep that in mind when you're talking to people, and you should do fine.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. It's like closing with a, gold here. Thank you so much. All the conversation is amazing. Adrian, I know you're a super busy person. Is there anything else that you wish I had asked you today?
No, I mean you've done a great job. I think you've covered it. It's a crazy landscape to jump in, but it's worth exploring. XR changed my life, but it's worth exploring for everybody, no matter your age, no matter your nationality, no matter your race. Like there's so much magic here if you're willing to put the work in and make it.
Yes, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Adrian. You are inspiring thousands of people around the world, not only with your life, but with the work that you're doing through your entrepreneurial works. So thank you so much for continuing to do that. And we're inviting right now everyone to follow Adrian Rashad and also, of course, Collimation to be on top of everything that they are creating. Thank you so much. And if you consider that this episode, this beautiful story from Adrian, gave you some inspiration, please consider sharing this with your family and friends, because this is how we all can get help from each other and grow together in the community. Thank you so much, Adrian. And
thank you, Diana. We'll speak soon.
episode.
Take
Bye.
care. Peace.